Right, so welcome to the Old Abbey Tap House Radio. My name's John. I've got an arts background, and I want to use this opportunity to explore a question I'm interested in. And that question is, how do people who want to work in a creative field, how do they earn a living? You know, is there any success stories? Are there any themes? Well, really just finding out about other people who are working in creative areas and, you know, how are they doing it? So the first person I want to speak to is a friend of mine, Mike Shaw, and I'm going to ask Mike to introduce himself rather than me doing a convoluted interpretation of what I think he is. He can, he's very good at speaking for himself. So over to you, Mike.
Okay, hi, my name is Mike Shaw. As you can see, I'm in the bath, but you can't see that, but I am in the bath. For my working day, I'm a barrister. That's how I pay my wages, and that's how I pay my mortgage, and that's how I live. But for 25-ish, maybe more, maybe 30 years now, I've been a musician who's been playing gigs around Manchester and further afield in a band called Fish on a Stick. Lately, I've had records and releases out under another name, which is that Shamshuali, which is an anagram of my name, Michael Shaw. Yeah, that's me. So in terms of my creativity, if you like, it's about being in a band, it's about writing music, and it's about doing stuff on my own.
Great. I mean, my first question was going to be, what is your art environment? And you've covered that. But what I realised when I was just thinking about it is we've known each other 30 years.
Yeah.
And when I met you, you were already playing music. So it must be over 30 years.
It could well be. In fact, it must be. 1988.
Yeah, because we met in 90.
Okay, yep. So 1988, 89 was when probably we had our first gigs, and that was places like the Gardener's Arms in Rusholme, which don't look for it; it's not there anymore. And Band on the Wall, places like that.
Was the Gardener's Arms opposite Bicycle Doctor?
No, that was the Welcome, wasn't it?
Oh.
Or was it the Welcome? No. What was it called? It's a dentist now. No, it is. But the Gardener's Arms was on a back street, parallel to Wilmslow Road, sort of level with the Curry Mile, basically. And we just turned up there one day and asked if we could just play there that night. And he said, yeah, all right, I'm not going to pay you. And this is our first ever gig, so we said, yeah, that's fine. And then we sat down and had a pint there and realised we didn't have a name for the band. So we'd arranged a gig without bothering to give ourselves a name. And we were drinking a pint of Guinness and a pint of lager. I had the lager, Adam had a Guinness. And so we called the band Black and Gold. It was just tragic, really. But that's how we had our first gig anyway. And we were awful, and it was a resounding success.
Oh, fantastic. So Fish on a Stick then, from Black and Gold to Fish on a Stick.
Yeah, that came from I don't even know if they still sell them. Oxfam used to sell these little handmade wooden ornaments, or I guess you call them ornaments. You put them in your plant pot, or I think that's what they're designed for. And we were just sat in the lounge, casting our eye around the room, being bears of very little brain, wherever came into view, and someone, I don't even remember who it was, said Fish on a Stick. So we all laughed and thought what a preposterous name it would be, and then we went for it. So lately, rather than being Fish on our Stick, four words, we've got rid of the spaces to make it all one word, so it's fishionastic. So it's hoping to make that, so either turn it into a branch of sport or maybe an Olympic event or something like that, Olympic fishionastics. But yeah, should be a while before that happens.
So a sub area of your creativity is this wordplay, isn't it? Because Shem Chiwali was an anagram of Mike Shaw, and now fish on a stick is being reinvigorated as fish on a stick.
It is. I can't. I'm a tinker man, John. I can't stop arsing about with things. And yeah, it just kind of keeps it interesting. I mean, the whole reason that the reason that I got into music in the first place is because I'm an attention seeker, and it's completely.
Hence the bath.
Hence the bath. Yeah. I'm actually not in a bath. I'm just naked on a chair with the sound of water playing on a tape recorder. I think anybody who's into music who doesn't say there's a small part of that into playing live music, or says there's not a small part of them, then he's either very just a more developed person than I am, basically, or he's fibbing a little bit.
Right.
But one of the most important parts of it is working through things in your head with words. Getting back to the earlier point that you mentioned about wordplay, that's not so much the wordplay as what the words come to mean in the end. But there's there's lots of sides to it, but those are definitely two parts of it. Sort of wordplay and structure, how you structure physically things that you write down, and obviously within that, what the song means to you, and invariably, they mean different things to other people than what they mean to me. Well, that doesn't really matter, because to me, it's all about me. what that?
Well, it is today.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, the meaning of it to me is what I really, for want of a better expression, get off on. And I like the fact that there's a meaning to it, and if I don't know, if when I'm not feeling so good, or I'm unhappy or depressed about something, then it's pretty easy to write. And it's probably one of the reasons why everything I write is pretty miserable. I tend not to. You won't find many shiny, happy peoples in my repertoire. Put it that way. There's a couple.
All right, let me interrupt you. I'm going to go off-piste and ask you a question that's just occurred to me based on what you've said. So, when you're writing a song, how do you know when it's finished? And a sort of second part to that question, do you sometimes change songs after you've written them, perhaps months or years later? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, I never have known when a song is finished, and I've always worried about it. I've decided more recently that a song is finished when I stop writing, as in when I stop writing the words. No, it's true. I mean, because what I would do before, I would write some words that meant something to me, and then for some reason, probably because of the bassist in our band, Phil, who does a lot of musical arrangements, he's kind of obsessed with what is the right length for a song, and guess what? It's always 3 minutes. So if I run out of things to say after about, depending on how slowly you sing, obviously, about a minute and a half's worth of words. So I'm either close to the position where I just repeat the words, or I'm forced to write more. Being forced to write more isn't the point. I mean, why? What's the point of writing anything that you feel forced to write? It's just, the point of it is to write what you feel and to work things through, and going on little journeys through songs. When the journey's finished, the song is finished. And if you'd asked me that a year ago, I would have just said, well, I would have said I don't know, but in a longer way, like, this is my won't. And I do change them later, yeah.
So it's a very sort of internal process, as opposed to external crafting something that you think will be successful. It's very much about expressing what's going on for you. And once that and that dictates how long it is, the content of it, and the sort of further impact is not really the issue. Is that correct?
I'm not sure I understood that. Say that again.
So what I took from what you were saying is that it's very much an internal process. You're trying to work something out. You're putting the structure and the words together, structure of the song and the words together, and it's finished when it's finished, when you stop writing, when you've expressed that thought or feeling. And what you're not concerned about is whether or not it fits a format that is established as this is the correct format for a pop song or a folk song or something that will be successful.
I think 50% of the things that I've written and put on SoundCloud and therefore on Facebook, blah, 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 have been about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long in recent memory. It just occurred to me that I wasn't sure why it had to be any longer than that. You know, I mean, people write short poems, people write long poems, you know, from whatever to just reams and reams of stuff. You know, there are those that go on, and it's down to me, isn't it? You know, whenever it stops is when it stops. I mean, I'm not. It is a personal process, but at the end of that, when the song goes to the band, it could easily change. And if I wasn't open to that, then it wouldn't be very good. I think always what I do is enhanced by other people's brains. It doesn't really matter what direction they take it in, because it's always better. And it's really weird because somebody could come up with an idea and I'll just go, "Ooh, blimey." So we'll give it a try. 9 times out of 10, it makes it better. The person who had the idea is more invested, obviously, and then it's a group process. You know, it's literally writing together. And I miss that actually at the moment. It's not a lot of human contact, as you know.
Yeah. So let me try and draw myself back to my list of questions. 30 years. What were your inspirations when you started?
Well, attention seeking, we've covered that.
Yeah.
A guy that I lived with called Brian Parsons, who he played guitar. He's just one of the guys that we shared a house with, which is on Premier Street in Old Trafford, near the Wally pub.
All right, near where I live now, then. Yeah.
I was at 63, I think.
Blue plaque.
Top on the yeah. If I design it and paint it and nail it up, yeah. I agree with that. And he was just an amazing guitarist, and I was a serial avoider of college. He would go to college, and I'd sneak into his bedroom and play his guitar. And he had a few like Bob Dylan tracks and stuff, Bob Dylan like playing books, stuff like that. So I taught myself to play along with these Bob Dylan books. I mean, I'm still a very, very average guitarist. I'm not a good guitarist at all. I mean, I probably make a few mistakes, but I don't challenge myself with guitar. I just use it as an accompaniment to lyrics, you know. But it was that got me to the point where I could at least play along with other people, which is quite important, you know.
Yeah.
But when you say inspiration, are you looking for something different to that? I mean, I'm not saying that I can provide it. I'm just wondering what you were driving at.
No, I think it was an open question, really.
Right.
So, before you learned to play the guitar, how did you express your ideas? Was it through? Did you write stuff? Then adding the guitar. Hey, crying
a bit more. Ridiculous, inappropriate comments. A lack of social ability of any kind.
All right, so it's been a way of you expressing what's going on for you inside, this ability to write and sing and perform.
Yeah, completely. I mean, that would be an oversimplification, because there were new friends to be had at the time, and those relationships deepened. I met my wife and I had kids, and you know, everything changes and you grow up a bit as a person. But prior to that, I'm not saying that it changed because of that, but prior to that, there was a lot of crying and shouting and just being a dick, really. You know, just a bit less of a dick, more of a dick than I am now. Ish.
Okay, so inspiration was this guy. I've forgotten his name. Brian Parsons.
Brian Parsons, yeah.
And
do you remember Brian Isles? I mean, this is going to be useful.
I do. Yeah, I do. This might be going up.
They were best mates. We'll just park that. Okay.
Yeah, memory lane territory. Yeah. So, having been a musician, songwriter, performer for 30 years, I'm assuming there must be some highlights.
Yeah. Well, there are a few. Well, the obvious one is the Fairport Convention support, which is by far, it was an absolutely perfect storm of everything in terms of, you know, we've had gigs where we've gone down brilliantly. We've had gigs where we've played to 2 people and gone down like a lead balloon. We've had gigs where we've played badly in front of lots of people and gone down badly and deserved to go down badly. Played gigs where we played badly and got down well and didn't deserve to, but still did. But the Fairport Convention one was, so they're a massive band, you know. I mean, they still are, even these days. They're a massive band. And it was just a sort of one of those, oh my God moments, you know. So we were supporting them. And the guy who runs Bury Met, he saw us in the Iguana, which was a pub in Charlton.
Yeah.
And he just said, "Do you want to support Fairport Convention?" I thought he was taking the piss. I said, and there was a little bit of, I knew the name, but I didn't really know who they were. I mean, they're not. I mean, I have to be honest and say they're probably not even today's sort of band that I would listen to, but they were massive. And we turned up at the place, turned up with Bury Met, and we sound checked. It was, I think it was 300-seater place, every seat filled. Then we just walked on to 300 faces, and I know for a fact, I know now with hindsight, they had no idea there was going to be a support. I think they might have actually expected Fairport Convention to walk on at that point. So we walked onto a room of 300 people as you'll ever get. And we played our little hearts out. We totally won them round, and we played. We deserved to as well. We played well, and if I didn't think we played well, and we didn't deserve to, I would say, because we've done it a lot of times. But we just nailed it. I think because we were all in awe of the Fairport thing. The sort of couple of weeks building up to that, we were just on it. Every rehearsal that we had was we weren't doing any gags. We weren't pouring shit on each other, showing our asses out of windows. We were just getting that right, and we were nervous as hell. I mean, I certainly was. But my God, yeah, that's probably by a stretch the best experience I've had. We sold like 50 CDs, which I made on my computer at home. And shit like that, and posters and stuff. So yeah, it was wicked. I really enjoyed it. Really liked it. Sorry.
Okay. Well, my next question is lowlights, because you know the theme is earning a living in an arts environment, and I know the next question is about earning a living, but
sadly there are probably more of those.
Right, go on then.
Oh God. There was a pub called the Boatman's Home in that is probably very close to where home is now.
Right.
In fact, over the road, it was there, and we turned up there, and the stage was that glittery stuff that comes down in lines. At the back of it. Subsequently, we found out that at lunchtime they had strippers on, and they weren't really used to live music. So we started our set, and Al, the bassist, broke a string. We began this set to an audience of 5, I think. And then Al had to go home and get a bass string in the middle of the set. So we had to sit there and sort of just chat shit with these 4 strangers. Well, one of them was Danny Sofa, but let's not go back there yet. But
what, before you knew him?
No. I knew him.
All right, he'd come to see you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But he was the only familiar face. And then afterwards, we finished the set, played really badly. We went for a curry with the entire audience. But
and that's a low.
Well, it's a good experience, but the attention-seeking part of me comes out, and that's 5 people's not enough attention.
Right. Okay.
Which is sad, isn't it? But I have learned. Even that part of me, I have learned to live with that now. If I play to 5 people or I play to 6 people, just to go to the opposite end, I'm used to it now. I'm used to not being listened to. You play in pubs all the time where people just have their backs to you, and they're not interested. And I know people who just won't do that because they find it insulting. I don't find it insulting. I find it a bit disheartening, but I don't find it insulting that people don't listen. It's kind of your job to make people listen, isn't it? Oh, I think it is anyway.
Yeah, we'll perhaps come back to that.
Okay.
So the earning a living thing that you've obviously, you said right at the beginning that you're a barrister.
Yeah.
So you've created that division between what you do with Fish on a Stick and what you do as a songwriter and what you do to earn a living. But you also earn some money through Fish on a Stick. I don't know. I'm asking that question.
Such a small amount, John. To be fair, I mean, whatever I spend on it definitely goes on my tax returns because it's a business. I trying to be a business like any other. Yeah, I make a loss with money with money playing music. And there's no 2 ways about that. I'm not doing it for money. If I was doing it for money, I'd have given up 31 years.
Yeah, so there's 2 sides to that, isn't there? There's I suppose it's on the one hand, doing what you want to do and accepting that, it's not going to be something I earn a living from, but it's something I want to do.
Sorry, can I take you back to something you said before about the barrister thing?
Yeah.
You've drawn that divide. You went like that. Your hand very distinctly went down like that.
Film.
Say again.
You've got it on film.
That is a problem. Because, I mean, I'm not saying it's a problem in your perception, but it is my perception. It has been for a long time. Now, I feel like lifting that boundary. I feel like just being honest, because you're kind of disliked in both worlds. So if you go to a courtroom and say, "What was it? Oh, in a folk band," and right, okay, thank you. Oh, great! I've got a folk musician defending me. Brilliant. That's just what I need. And if you go to an acoustic gig and tell me you're a barrister, it's just literally people just walk away from you. It's like it's not. So you're kind of hated in both worlds, and that has forced me to try and do this separation thing. And I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to embrace both parts of it. And I was going to swear then. I'm trying to keep the swearing to an end, but whatever other people want to, however people want to take that, I need to be sort of okay with it because it's just who I am. To try and sort of hide half of your world from another half of your world is just ridiculous, just because of other people's preconceptions. So, go me.
So that's interesting. It has been difficult having those 2 different paths, if you like, simultaneously. And you're after. I mean, I know you haven't been a barrister for 30 years, but what you seem to be saying is that, it's got to be something. Now it is much more about you as a whole identity, as opposed to you expressing yourself through your music, but then going to earn a living. Now, what you're saying is,
well, I mean, I enjoy it for the reasons that we've spoken about already. The barrister musician thing is just about being honest about who you are, and therefore hoping to be more comfortable in both worlds, rather than less comfortable in both. It probably isn't relevant to the thing, but it's when you did that with your hand, I was like, no, bring the hand up. Let's see each other.
All right. So I said come back to something earlier on. I've forgotten actually what it was, but it was when you were saying that you don't mind playing to small amounts of people.
Yeah.
And I know through our previous discussions that one of the things you're interested in now is this idea of house music coming to people's places and playing in their space. So it's not necessarily about 300 people sat there expectantly.
No.
You're part of an event and people dip in, dip out, and you're sort of much more part of it. I don't know if I've got that right.
I think you've got that pretty much spot on. You can't beat the sound of 300 people all applauding you and appreciating what you've done. It's a phenomenal thing. But it's by the same token, being sat in an intimate environment like someone's front room and just in front of, say, 10 or 15 people who will be paying attention, or else it'll be a weird way to spend your evening, by and large. And the feedback you get is really honest, I mean, up to the point where you're having discussions, and I had one woman say, "Oh, I didn't like that one," and I guess if that's somebody that in a pub, you'd be like, "That's a heckler. That's somebody you got to put down." Well, actually, we had a conversation. Why do you like it? Because of what? And it's completely understandable why she didn't like it. It was a pretty dark song with some pretty unpleasant imagery in it. So fair enough. So yeah, it's a different kind of experience, and you wouldn't obviously get that in an environment where you're playing like sort of 200, 300 people or whatever, or even in a pub where people are just ignoring you.
Yeah. So external to this, we've had a conversation about it, and you were saying that's the sort of direction you'd like to go in. Definitely. At the moment, and with the aim of shifting, to try and make enough money to let go of some of your barrister work, so you could do more. You could sort of support doing more music. So I'm sort of interested in how has technology fed into any of this, the way you're taking what you do, or are you still very much this idea of sitting in front of people, play music, 15 people?
I think I'm not sure what you're driving at, and I'm going to say that technology doesn't play much of a part in sitting in front of people in their front room. It might play a part in getting the gig, because they might see us on Facebook, or they might see us on our website.
That's what I'm driving at.
Right. Okay.
Well, has it changed since, with social media and new technology? Like this Zoom thing that we're using now. Has it given you any ways of developing what?
Do you know what? I don't think it has changed things. If I'm honest, I think if you don't go out and do gigs, it doesn't matter whether you've got a website or not. It's like having an empty shop. It's all right having a shop front and there's nothing in the shop. And the interesting thing that I found was that I tried various social media ways of getting people to sort of get onto my website and subscribe and receive emails and stuff like that. And the best way to get people to do that is gigs, because it doesn't matter. If you do one gig, I'd be surprised if at least 3 people didn't come up and say, have you got a Facebook page? Have you got this? Even if they're just being polite. It does happen because it's very personal. It's an interactive human experience. Whereas me just sort of shoving something out on social media is, well, you've probably seen the quality of my posts, John. I'm not very good at the only time I get genuinely excited about stuff on social media is when it's somebody else's stuff. If it's mine, I find it very hard to do that. I find it very hard to go, I'm phenomenally proud to release my blah, blah, blah. Because I'm kind of not. But I'm very proud. I mean, I put that thing I sent you, the Danny Corley's. I'm really proud of that. I genuinely am proud of it. And it's not my tune. How annoying is that?
So, I was listening to it earlier, but just explain to me what is that song that you sent us?
that is a song by a local singer-songwriter and artist called Danny Corley. Do you know him?
No. I mean, the first thing was when I listened to it earlier this evening.
Right. Okay. Well, I saw him perform that song in the Acoustic Cafe, which takes place in a church on Monday nights, which is where singer-songwriters go and play tunes.
That's something you're a regular of, isn't it?
It is, yeah, every Monday. Obviously not now, but it was before. And I saw him do that. I just love that song. You know, even with him and a guitar, it had more energy than anything else I'd seen that night, all put together. It was just had not really driving. And I just said, you've got to come and record it at the house and we'll see what it turns into. And that's it. That's what it turned into. It took 4 months to get there, probably about 20 sessions. But the thing that I'm proud of is the fact that I'm not a sound engineer and it doesn't sound shit. I'm not saying it's amazing, but it doesn't sound bad. That was my biggest fear, making it worse than what it was, because there's this saying about a song, if a song is good enough, it'll work with just a guitar or a piano and a voice. If it's good enough, it'll work like that. So all I could do really is detract from that as a sound engineer. And you know, through a kind of collaborative process, we got to the point where, well, what it is now. And he thinks I'm a great engineer. I mean, he knows that I'm not, but he's telling me I am, because he can't believe the result that he's got. And now he played that. I did a bit of vocal on it, I did a bit of guitar, and I'm just proud of the way it sounds, you know. And I think my pride could be overt because it's somebody else's, but if my pride is overt about my own stuff, it feels conceited or arrogant. Mm-hmm. So I got rid of that.
I think that might be common for people who do stuff that, you know, it feels uncomfortable boasting about your own stuff, but you can recognise quality in someone else.
Danny's not uncomfortable with it.
Is he?
No, he's not uncomfortable with blowing his own horn, shall we say.
Okay.
He has confidence in his own abilities. And I learned a lot from him about songwriting in the process as well. He knew exactly what he wanted, and that's why it made me look good, because whenever I asked a question, he had the answer. You know, that's not, I don't think I would have that. I like other people to write stuff, you know, and add to what I've already done. He knew top to bottom how he wanted his song to sound, which is quite something, I think, really. To have that all in your own head.
So, I'm just aware of the time. Your back probably getting cold.
Colder. It's my own fault.
So, you know what? The theme of this is how do people working in an arts environment earn a living? And you've sort of explained over, you know, the 30 years how you've sort of juggled, if you like, to. Well, I know you've had a number of different careers. This is like a third iteration, perhaps. But would you agree or not?
About the 5th, I think.
Right. So, look, you know, what are your concluding thoughts about this idea of, you know, if people are listening to this who are creative and they might be younger than us and they might be looking forward and thinking about how they're going to, what they want to do with their lives and how they're going to do it. Don't know what, you know, do you have any thoughts about any advice, any guidance based on your experience?
Get a job. That's really sad, isn't it? I'd say don't worry about the money. You know, I don't focus too much on trying to earn money from it. Focus on what it is and what it means to you as a person. You know, and everything else will sort itself out. You know, because people do what they have to do practically to get through in life, don't they? Everyone has money they need to spend and things they need to pay for, and friends and family and relatives and whatever. And you've got, that's just a practical requirement of existence. Whereas music or creativity is what it's about, what's going on in your head and what you want to get from it. And that's probably more important than all that other stuff.
So that
I don't know. I was going to say you and your creativity will find a way to work together. It'll work itself out. But all that other stuff, it's just practical requirements, isn't it? And you just let that take care of itself. Don't let it impinge on it. You know, draw a line, John. No, don't do that.
So what? Yeah, I suppose what I'm drawing from this conversation is that one of the qualities that you embody is this, you know, just this need to express yourself and seeing that as an important part of your life, and being able to continue with it throughout all the time I've known you. And it sounds like before that
Yeah,
you know, you just keep on keeping on.
I think one thing that I would say as well is that there's a collaborative experience through music that I don't think I've experienced in many other environments, where they say that saying about the sum being bigger than the whole being bigger than the sum of the parts.
Yeah,
I've never found that to be more true in any other environment than music, because that investment comes with love and comes freely. You know, when somebody puts something in, you're not going to work. You know, you're not there on, you know, £6 an hour, and that's the limit here. But you're actually investing something a lot more than that into it, and it's the same with anything, isn't it? The more you invest in it, the more you get out of it. And it's hard not to invest in a piece of music if you're involved in playing in it. You know, it's really hard not to do that. Almost impossible, I would say. In fact, if you're doing that, why are you doing it?
The other thing, you know, mentioned before we finish is that, you know, Adam Godwin, I met him at the same time as I met you, and you were playing together then, and you're still playing together now.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've had you've obviously found a relationship that's meant a lot to you and has
Absolutely.
been, you know, has been meaningful to both of you, and you've been able to work together creatively, and you still are. So, you know, it's quite impressive to have such to found something that's still going. Yeah, and
it's the least difficult thing in the world. No, it genuinely is. It's like literally, it's like that John Lennon expression: "His life is what happens while you're busy making other plans."
Yeah,
that my relationship with Adam is the definition of that. It's like literally just happened. It's never been questioned. I'll tell you, at the end of the night when we finished rehearsing, Phil, Adam, and Wayne, I give Phil a hug. I give Wayne a hug. I give Adam a handshake. He knows this, and he knows this, and it's just, I don't know why, but that's just how it works. See you next week, mate. And it's weird, but he's the one who deserves the hug. But we have an understanding.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's keep the hugs out of this, especially as you're in the bath.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, good point.
So let's draw it to a close. What would you like to play out with? So, you know, you've got the choice of what you want people who are listening to this to.
Can we do 18 takes of this bit?
Yeah. Take your time, mate.
Oh, man. Freeze.
Freeze. So go on.
Yes, so-called Freeze. It's about friendship. That'll work.
Is it one of yours?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So when we come to the editing bit, I'll add "idiot for a living" at the beginning and "freeze" at the end.
So it's
influenced by the bath, or
say again, mate.
Was that influenced by the bath, or was it to do with the?
No, it's just one of them. It's a tune that when we play it, I play it a lot with Phil. Two guitars and a vocal harmony, and it just always goes down. It's a good tune, you know. I mean, that's as hard blowy as I could get. It is a good tune, and when we do it well, it's a belter.
Yeah, and it's your choice, so it doesn't matter.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks very much for interrupting your bath time and sharing a bit of your experience and knowledge and insight.
The very idea that other people are going to see this is Yeah, I didn't anticipate that, and I've got a problem with it. I mean, there's nothing X-rated here, is there? But still, it's a bit, yeah. Could be a first. Maybe we'll get some sort of Guinness record for it or something.
Yeah.
Are you wearing pants, by the way?
Oh, I am. Yeah.
Oh,
I was only joking when I said I wouldn't be.
yeah, well, drove me into it, didn't you?
All right. Thank you very much, Mike Shaw.
Thank you, mate.
Take me through the gates, I'm already halfway through. But if I go, will you come too? Sometimes I feel frozen and confused. Well, I guess we've all been used. But if I go, will you come too? No, don't let my hand go, for I will freeze with all these frailties. I'm paralyzed in the snow. I will freeze with all my indignities. Take me to the end. I would only go with you. I can picture it with me and you. But if I go, will you come too? Take me overboard, freeze us both in time. Well, the pleasure, the privilege is mine. But if I go, will you come too? No, don't let my hand go, for I will freeze